Hey, welcome to my channel. So the Mets won. They finally won. Finally, against the Seattle Mariners, and of course we saw McLean basically, and that was great seeing McLean pitch. Um, it proves that like against a very hot offensive Seattle Mariners team, this was good to see how he played basically, and it bodes well for our future. Put it that way, it bodes very well for our future. If he keeps pitching the way he's pitching, that's great. The only thing is like I wish Mendoza had kept him in for the full 5 innings, so he went to the sixth inning basically because it seems like he definitely had two more batters in him to get to the sixth inning basically. Granted, now it was a five and a, I mean not, I mean 6 innings. Sorry, full 6 innings basically because quite honestly, five and a third. Yeah, but he could have gone a full 6 innings. I think he could have gone that full. Like those two more batters, bringing it to the seventh. Because let's be honest, when Soda came in, it was fortunate that like they didn't give up a run or anything like that. The way it was at that point, considering that McLean got himself out of a couple of jams, that's pretty impressive in and of itself. And like the fact that the kid always went back to his breaking ball was really a surprise. Don't be surprised for other teams to pick that up very quickly because he was leaning heavily into his breaking ball, and like a bunch of pitchers or a bunch of hitters were not familiar with it, I guess, and that's why. But as more and more as time progresses, I think hitters will be able to figure them out at that point. But to the point is, I'm starting to realize I think Mendoza has been getting very lucky. Let's be honest. I mean, like putting Diaz in, bringing him in the eighth and then the ninth. I think Diaz is more of a one inning pitcher, the closer that he should come in on the ninth inning and not the eighth. Um, and it was surprising that he kept him in, for the full 2 innings, to the point where like he gave up that home run. I mean, let's be honest. If the Mets were it was 1-0, it'd be a different. We'd be talking differently at this point. But I'll say this: we were fortunate to get out of it. But I think what I'm seeing now is Mendoza's been getting very lucky. I don't think Mendoza is the manager for our future. I hate to say this, but like if you look very closely, I've been looking now like some of his placements and such. I mean, like when the Mets were having offensive troubles, he didn't even tweak the offense. He didn't tweak the roster. I mean, the batting lineup. I mean, quite honestly, it's like one of those things where he should have tweaked a batting lineup at that point, but he didn't. He chose not to. He just starts like, oh, we're just too good of a team that like we're too good of a hitters, we're too good of pitchers. They'll figure it out themselves out. That same mentality, I hate to say it kind of reminds me of Joe Torre of the '92 Mets. That's like, oh, we're too good of a team. We'll have to figure. We can figure it out. It was the same thing I think with Bobby Valentine in his last year with the Mets. I mean, like they were too good, and like he did not adapt. And I don't think Mendoza knows how to. I don't want to say doesn't know how to adapt, but it seems like he's not adapting correctly. And I think last year's run, it's seeming more and more like he was fortunate and lucky. I think it was things were just in place at that point, and that's why. I hate to say this, but after this year, if the Mets make the playoffs, great. But if they don't and they get far, that's great. But my honest opinion, I think they're not going to make the playoffs. I think we got to get rid of Mendoza. I hate to say this, but like I don't know. You guys can disagree with me. If you guys disagree with me, let me know. But if you look at his stance, basically the things that he's done, not only this year but last year as well till last season. Look at that very closely. The hitters were hitting because it wasn't because of him. I mean, he managed to make some tweaks to the roster here and there, and like he realized, okay, hey, let's do this, and that. But I think during the game, he always says basically like, hey, our hitting coach, our pitching coaches should make in-game adjustments, but he's supposed to be pushing them to do that, and I don't think he's applying that as well too. To the point where like even during those games that they were losing and they were not hitting that well, he chose not to tweak the lineup as much. I don't know where the stance is with Beltran, Carlos Beltran, if he can come back to baseball, but I think he's a guy that maybe the Mets should hire. I mean, like remember he was supposed to be the manager. This guy has so much baseball knowledge, uh, so much in his head that I think he would be a really good manager. I mean, granted, like he's not. He's probably not. I'm hoping he's not going to be Willie Randolph, but I think Beltran might be the Mets manager. Future manager basically. Because like with Sprott coming up, I mean, like Sprott's probably going to come up at the end of the year. End of this month as well too, or maybe mid September, to like get him in play at that point. Because like if McLean's doing really well, Sprott's going to come in, and that's the kick that they need, or the not the kick, but more so actually the kick in the butt basically, but more the rejuvenation they need to move forward. But in any case, like I said, I mean looking at this game and all the other games as well too, but now looking more so at this game, I'm like, why is he taking McLean out? McLean you could tell he had a couple of more in him, and he was even sure that he could, just because he had a 91 inning pitch, or pitched 91 pitches, and in 5 1/3 innings. Honestly, I think he probably could have gone to like 110 pitches, and you could tell he wanted to go there too, and he wanted to like kind of close out a little bit. Yeah, I hate to say this, but like it's more so to the point. Like I think Mendoza's been getting very lucky and very fortunate in a bunch of these games. I don't know if it's a case of like this is a case where like, hey, let's like the whole Moneyball thing was like with Art Howe, like, oh, Art just like play the players, they'll take care of themselves. You don't even have to manage. This is a case where I think Mendoza needs to manage a little bit, at least make alterations to the lineup, change, know when to put the right pitchers in or know when to pull them out, as well as knowing when to bring in. Basically, like I said, I was like a little afraid when Diaz came in the eighth. I was like, okay, that means Myers is going to be or whatever is going to be coming in the ninth. But that keeping Diaz for 2 innings kind of worried me a little, and it showed. Like he gave up that home run. Diaz was like, all right, fine. He gave him a home run. I'm like, I'm good. Let's be honest. If what's his name actually gets the hit instead of a Nimmo getting that out in the ninth inning, it's a 3-2 ball game. And of course, there were so much others as well too. I mean, honestly, like Lindor shouldn't have scored. They should not have pushed him after Nimmo got that hit. He should have stayed at third because once Alonso came in, boom, that would have been 4-0 instead of 3-0. And that, let's be honest, 4 runs that would have been very helpful at that point, honestly. But any case, like I said, I think this is a case where I think Mendoza's been getting very lucky. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Am I wrong? With that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, of course, always unrehearsed. Until next time.